So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. I hope it never ends. Let's be more than friends. Yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day. Yeah. So hold me tight through the night. It's just us two, me and you. Oh, oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, oh, still can't believe you love me. Falling into your arms, dancing up in the stars. Oh, where I'd rather be than with you. Oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, still can't believe you love me. Oh, I can't believe you love me. Oh, I just feel so lucky. Oh, still can't believe you love me.
Hey, I wish you could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You know that I won't let you go. Put your arms around me and I'll let you know how it feels when time goes slow. And I won't let it rush when I see you dance. And the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you. Hey, I wish I could show you more, 'cause baby you deserve some more. But still you're here and that's what I adore. Should've told you straight away everything I have to say. But I'm afraid and I know you haven't noticed. You know
Hello, and welcome. And looks like the microphone's actually working today, too. Fantastic. Lance Ward, hello. I appreciate you coming by. Tabitha, hello and welcome. And Extreme Brazen, hello. Welcome to the show. Yesterday was nothing but one dangle clack after another. One problem after another. And by the end of the show, it started to eat away at me to the point where I really wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. And it also didn't help that my desk was a total cluster yesterday. Should have spent a little more time cleaning it off, but it is what it is. So today, we're doing take 2 because yesterday, this VooPoo Drag X PNP-X kit, that little fill port on there, the rubber plug was shoved inside there. I couldn't get the thing open. Last night, I played with it after the stream. Finally got the plug out. But the main problem is that little flapper that's in there for you to open it up, it was defective. There wasn't one there. The plug literally stops right at the edge of where it fills that hole and seals it. So today, I have another one completely sealed that we're going to open up and find out if this is actually a problem that I should do a video on and report to people, or maybe I just got one defective tank. In which case, this is kind of a moot point because every once in a while you're going to get a dud. However, I appreciate all you guys coming back out today. Hopefully it's going to be dangle clack free. I do have some news to cover today. So why don't we jump over and take a look and see what that is. Here's a study that was just published. The National Bureau of Economic Research. And being a good reporter, I dug into it to find out who paid for this study. Well, it traces all the way back to Philip Morris. But realistically, I've gotten to the perspective now that I'm actually pissed off at Philip Morris and British American Tobacco for not getting into this game earlier. Why aren't they standing up for the rights and for the facts that they know? They've been researching this for eons. They know their product. They know what's going to happen eventually. Philip Morris even called for the end of combustion, combustible tobacco. They know that electronic cigarettes are the future. They know that vaping is the future. So why are they being so quiet? Why are they so silent? Why aren't they supporting more of us that are out there fighting for the good fight? Well, here's one study that they did publish. It says smoking is the leading preventable cause of death in the United States because e-cigarettes do not involve combustion of tobacco. Common sense. Vaping offers the potential to prevent most of the health consequences of smoking. Well, this study boils down to the fact that the media's vaping alarmism has had lethal consequences. 30% reduction in the number of people that have looked into vaping, and a 30% reduction in smoking cessation attempts at people because of all the constant misinformation that's out there, the constant scaremongering tactics that media is feeding on. Everybody loves a bad news story. That doesn't give them the right to constantly push things that aren't true and easily disproven. All right, moving on. Because this is a mixing and chilling episode show, not something for us to get all fired up about. Here's a wonderful article published in Vaping Today. Delusional and ignorant anti-vaping. Once again, going back to the fanaticism of misinformation that reigns among anti-vaping groups. This one in particularly focused on Australia. Australia is a basket case when it comes to vaping. Reading the Down Under newspaper op-eds, one would think that the country has been completely cut off from the rest of the world. His health facility is so detached from reality that all he can do is laugh at him. So let's do that. Starting with this amazing editorial from a guy named Dr. I'm not even going to go into this guy's name. But this is a fantastic article talking about how They're constantly putting half-truths out there, half-truths that are easily disproven. They're actually claiming that it's the tobacco industry that's actually smuggling the e-cigarettes into Australia. Seriously? Do you think the criminals have partnered with Big Tobacco so that they can flood the streets with products that aren't actually made by Big Tobacco? Anyway, there's going to be a link in the description after the video. I'll edit it to put this in there. Wonderful article, tears apart all the alarmist misinformation that the press feeds on and constantly shoves down everybody's throat. However, we do have some good news here. S'more opens the first PMTA testing laboratory in China. They're not going to give up. This is a big multinational corporation now. S'more is no longer just some little, mom and pop organization or operation with just a handful of employees. They're on the stock exchange, and they have a vested interest to their shareholders to produce and continue selling products. Well, in order to comply with the United States laws, they are going to eventually get a product past PMTA. Once the dust settles and you get something to go through, they're going to do whatever it takes to mimic that application that is passed, and they're going to be selling their products. They're going to get the US FDA to give in on this. All right, so something I came across today. Alex Woodcock posted this and asked, anyone object to this vending machine for vaping? Simple steps outlined to start. Should only be allowed, of course, in age-restricted venues. Totally Wicked, the world's premier vaping brand. Well, maybe down in Asia Pacific region. But I don't understand why, if you walk into a bar and you see a vending machine for cigarettes, why can't you find a vending machine for vaping and electronic cigarettes next to it? There's no reason why you shouldn't have it. Matter of fact, my humble opinion, you should replace all the cigarette machines with vape machines. Think of the public health impact that would have. Interesting. So that's it for the news today. Dangle clack free. And like I said, my focus today is to try and figure out what all went wrong last night and do it right this time. The first thing I came across was yesterday after the show, I went to go use this Kelpie and it was giving me all kinds of miscellaneous errors. One moment it would be reading 0.22 ohms. The next minute it was 0.02 ohms. It didn't make any sense to me. So I pulled this thing apart, cleaned it off, and came to realize that when I clipped the leads here, one of the Clapton wires was hanging down and causing an intermittent short with the cap. So that's why I had to gut this thing out, got it all prepped out. And today we're going to actually go and use it. And hopefully now that I got all the little fuzzy off of it, I guess that's what you can call it, a little fuzzy from the coil, that should work beautifully. I love the airflow on that. It's very smooth, slightly restricted, but I enjoyed the vapes that I got out of it initially until the mod was reading different wattage, different resistances and trying to compensate for that. And then it was, no. All right. Dangle clack stuff aside, I want to take a look at this Drag X PNP-X kit. So yesterday I did pop this out. Ingenious design how you would push this down to cover up the opening. But if you take a close look at this, you'll see that the rubber flap is actually missing. There is no easy way to get this to open up. I literally was using these pointy tweezers to try and get access to it. And even with this, all I'm doing is ripping it apart even further. There's no easy way to get this open. So this is essentially a dud now. And they don't include extra rubber seals in there, nor do they give you an instruction on how to remove this top piece and if you wanted to change it. So essentially this tank is toast. So I have another one. Exact same thing. I had ordered one through an online vape store, and I picked the other one up at a local vape shop when we were in Cleveland. So how about we put some music back on? And we're going to get this opened up and find out if I just got a bad one, or does this tank have a problem with that fill port?
Hanging on to hope and holding on to a dream, wishing for the kind of love you see in magazines. The illusion falls and nothing's what it seems.
As you can see, it's the exact same thing.
The part left is hurting deep inside of me. Heard a whisper, someone saw you at the bar. Was it the same night you had trouble with your car? It's getting old.
Press
Heard your stories told
and turn.
1,000 times. Baby, you are using the same old lines. I'll leave it.
And that's the extent of their...
I wasted too much time.
You don't have any fingernails. How are you supposed to get this open?
'Cause there's no fixing what's been broken. This ain't the first time I've been
So I have it bent back. But as you can see, that is not opening. And this is twisted as far as it can go.
walking down the street, the rain is pouring down.
It will not open.
But my feet are walking to a different sound. I'll leave the bitter taste of love come back and finally
This deserves a video on its own.
the mirror I can see.
VooPoo are hit and miss on all their hardware.
I'll leave
I did not realize that. Up until now, the experiences that I've had with VooPoo stuff have been fantastic. But this goes to show you that it's not all peaches and cream. This is unacceptable. Literally cannot open that pod. So what are you going to do? You're going to go through the same thing I did yesterday. You're going to go and yank on that real hard, and it's going to rip this thing off. And then when you do try and get it to open, you're going to end up pushing the rubber thing inside the tank. And then it's never going to be a proper seal, and then you're going to flood the stuff. Unbelievable. Well, this is getting put back in a box. And they are getting a video on that. I'm sorry. The VooPoo Musket was one of those products where I got the thing, I played around with it, started the review video on it, and the more I used it, the more I hated it. But I said, you know what? I covered that in, I think, the 500 sub thank you vlog or something. I talked about that and showed it, and showed what my problems were with it. But I wasn't going to bash it, considering how cheap they were selling the thing for. It's just frustrating that, you know, a professional company like VooPoo, you know, should be able to produce some decent quality stuff. Now, when we were at the store, Brick City Vapors, she told me you ought to check out the TPP-X Pod Tank. This one, let me get a knife so I can open this up. I used a knife and now I don't know where to put it. All right, so we picked this up in a gold. And the advantage of this is that it can literally fit onto there. And this also makes it a 510 adapter for the Pod Tank. Unfortunately, this uses the exact same fill method. Is this one going to be the same problem? No, this one opens fine. Unreal. Interesting. And then lastly, you all know I love rebuildable stuff.
Don't you worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay here. I will stay here. And as long as my heart beats like a drum, then I won't back.
This is the Rta Pod Tank.
No, I won't back down.
I'll give you some cotton. There's a coil, a tool.
Don't you worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will
Same base.
stay here. I will stay here.
Does fit in there.
And as long as my heart beats like a drum, then I won't back.
How's this one feel on the bottom?
Worry, I'm not going anywhere. I will stay here. I will stay here. And as long as my heart beats like a drum, then I won't back down. No, I won't back down.
What is it with these rubber things? You just can't get them open. You got multiple nubs on the bottom there to seal this thing off.
I've been in,
It'd be easy to build on.
been knocking at your door. I know one thing for sure. I've never been so close.
All right, another time, another day. We'll play with that and see how it works. But
It's one way or
this is now officially in my book an actual problem that needs to have documentation out there about it.
I ain't getting it.
2 out of the 3 that I've got so far have had this problem.
You will stay.
And that's not cool. All right.
You were true.
You take a poker next to the rubber and the hole to break the seal. Yeah. The thing is, the bottom of that tank is open, so it's not like it's under vacuum or anything. And I could take a pair of tweezers and go in from the bottom where the coil normally fits in and pop it out. But the problem is, as soon as you plug it back up, it's still in there. It's like the nubs that they have around the seal are just a hair too big, and it's just too much tension to pull out. And that little flap that they gave you is too thin to deal with it. I mean, this is the first time we've opened it up, and one broke yesterday. Another one looks like it was just about ready to break if I would have pulled any harder on it. What's it going to be like after about the 4th or 5th refill? Are you going to be stuck without a little nub to open it up? And then the thing is, if that thing isn't completely sealed, well, then there's no resistance in the tank for the e-liquid that's in there. And gravity will naturally let it flow through the cotton if you leave it sit for any length of period. That's why some of these tanks, when you sit them on the counter, you know, or you lay them laying down, they're perfectly fine because there's technically a vacuum created in here. And when you see the bubbles coming out, that's because you're equalizing the pressure. When you draw the fluid in here, that creates a vacuum inside here. Then the air comes back through here. The only place to go and get air into this chamber is through the cotton inside that coil. So the pressure equalizes. All right. You like that tank, but be careful with the post. I thought it when I first came out, and my posts were press fit and came loose. Ah. Now I see why you made the statement earlier about it being hit or miss with their hardware. That's sad, because they're a big company. You got lots of stuff out there. And a lot of the vape shops carry, you know, a lot of the VooPoo stuff because of them being such a big brand. All right, well, we're done with the take two stuff. I've got this ready to go. I just need to create myself a recipe to put in there. The other thing I noticed yesterday that I wasn't paying attention to is when I had all this stuff laid out, things got moved around whenever I was moving the scale in here. And the tanks that I had lined up with the flavors were messed up. So yesterday, I literally pulled in the tank that had the custard. I pulled out the e-liquid that was in there and I put in there the fruit, which turned out to be pretty good, you know, combination, but it's not fair to rate a recipe based upon it being mixed with some other juice. So today, that's the reason why I cleaned out these drippers and the liquids that we make today. We're going to put it onto a clean slate so we can actually decide whether it's worth it or not. All right. Let's go to e-liquid recipes and let's go visit Sherlock Holmes again and see what we can make. Alrighty. 1985. Double chocolate clear and yellow cake. Chocolate cake. Interesting. Mini beard number 5. So we basically have a strawberry cheesecake. Interesting. I've never had beard e-liquid. What else we got here? Harvest berry, super sweet, sweet cream, vanilla custard. Okay, we'll give that a try. Let's modify that. What do all you think of the music? Is this enjoyable music for you guys? The acoustic version? If you'd like to have some 80s music or something else, please feel free to let me know and even if I don't have it lined up so that I can put it on this episode, I can always download it and set it up as, you know, a specific type of music that we'll play on a future episode. Okay, so we'll need the harvest berries. That was another one of the first ones that I picked up. Tabitha likes the music. Okay, now we need the super sweet. Sweet cream and vanilla custard. Well, that was simple. Now all we need is a little bottle. .86 of the secret sauce. This song makes me feel like I'm in Hawaii. That's on my bucket list. One of these days I'll get there. Okay, PG. 2.8. This is so much easier than having to grab that big, huge bottle. Harvest berry is 3.08 grams. This is a 10%. These eyedropper bottles, you really got to be able to squeeze them to get the drop to come out. There we go. Now we need 0.3 of our super sweet. Our sweet cream is 0.6.
So hard to see from the moment we arrive. Cornelia, you are one.
And vanilla custard is 0.6 as well.
When time's been bad, you put smiles on everyone. Think of you and of all I should have done. You told me the thing would shape or form that you're in. The place you're from,
Close enough.
the wealth of the color of your skin. And all you have burns to the sky. It's all too late. You want
has like a wine smell to it. And 26 and a half.
It's a struggle and a strife. But don't you agree? With beating hearts, we're still alive. There comes a time when all you have is who you love. And Cornelia, you'll be all I'm thinking of. It don't mean a thing what shape or form that you're in.
Awesome.
What place you're from, the wealth or the color of
Mrs. Hunky Vape's doing fine. At work today. Last night, she came home and we made meatball hoagies with sweet potato fries. Sat there and enjoyed an adult beverage. And went to bed early. Awesome. Got some new tape in for the label maker. This is going to be amazing to be able to put the labels on there. All right, let's pull out one of our drippers. The Bushido V3. Swear to God, this is perfect for any beginner to be able to use. Because when you make this thing, you can literally take your tool and rest it on the edge of this deck to perfectly place those coils. Yeah, it's a little small, but other than being small, it's a fantastic dripper. It's not for cloud chasing, but for mixing like this, it has been wonderful. Cotton's a little thin in there, I can see. I don't know if you ever noticed that. If you don't put enough cotton in there, that's usually what causes the spitting on these coils. Dangle clack number 1 today. Listen, I understand this thing's got custard and cream in it. The harvest berries isn't very prominent. And from the experience that I've had so far, if you don't get that flavor and you can't recognize it on the shaken vape, it's not like it's going to magically show up later on. I will let this sit for 24 hours and come back to it just to verify it. But I think this is the perfect candidate for us to be able to modify this recipe once we determine whether it's actually worthwhile or not. I kind of sense that wine-ish note through my nose. There's no flavor of any fruits in this whatsoever. So we'll see, because we do have a custard and a cream mixed in with it. So this may take some time to settle out. And there's a possibility that the palate will expand, but I have very little hopes of that at this point. All right, let's take and find another recipe to mix up.
Without the words, the feelings unheard can still be just as sincere. But something's not right. Something ain't right.
Nah.
Oh, something ain't right.
That's the one thing I definitely love about having a separate tank to use every time that you go and you mix something up, because then you can pair that up with the liquid that you made and set it off to the side on a shelf and come back to it and revisit it. Also enables me to keep things organized when we go and we make multiple recipes. Very well, let's jump back over and take a look at the recipes. We'll go back to our list of what we can make. Let's jump all the way down to page 93. What do we have on page 93? Lots of strawberries, lots of cheesecake. More of this bearded vape, number 5. Must be a really good strawberry cheesecake. A lot of people seem to be trying to make it. Golden pineapple, raspberry, sweet mango, and sweet strawberry. We're looking at 5, 10, 16% between the pineapple, raspberry, and strawberry, and the mango's down at 3. Mango does seem to be a very strong flavor. Am I enjoying that Vapor's Cloud RDA? Lance Ward asked. Well, let's just take a look at it right now. Because this is a custard that is going to take a while. We made this the other day. Will's custard. And it looks kind of funky on this Aspire mod. But I love the airflow on this thing. It's buttery smooth. And perhaps those coils that I put in here aren't the best coils, but they do work. Let me switch overhead. That custard's starting to wake up. It's tasty. You get a little sweetness out of it. That airflow on the Mongala for this particular cap is buttery smooth. But this juice does need to sit for longer. It's not quite ready yet, I don't think. All right, so we're gonna need golden pineapple. I'm gonna have to order some more of that, about halfway through this bottle. Raspberry. V1 or V2, they didn't specify. We'll go with the first one, the original. Considering the recipe's back from 2014, there wasn't a V2 back at that point. Sweet mango. And sweet strawberry. Looks like my next order, I'm gonna have to order some more 30 ml bottles. That Myogi's cappuccino, I'm still enjoying that one. You get the sweetness of the cream, but you still have that flavor on that residual on your tongue from drinking coffee. Perfectly balanced between the sweetness and the dry notes in that recipe. All right, so flipping overhead. Let's adapt this. And
From miles away, I can tell there's something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk.
it was at 30 mils. I did notice that. But this way it gets saved in our recipes. Awesome. Switching overhead. We'll start with our golden pineapple at 1.5. I'm surprised by how many recipes are using golden pineapple. Okay, raspberries also 1.5. It's actually 1.55 grams. Here's where the molecular weight of the solution comes into play. Bang on. Sweet mango is 0.9, essentially 3%. These are big drops. Close enough. And 1.8 of sweet strawberry. This is 6%.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different. Still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments. Doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors. They kind of tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love
Awesome.
with the way we are and the way we lose it. There's something different about us and the reason why we stay.
1.8
We fly around like paper.
for the secret sauce.
Never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us. Still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are.
Perfect.
There's something different about us.
Now we need 1.3 of our PG.
cup after cup. Yeah, it's just the way we do it. Anything just to block out the real life, real life. Yeah, we're loving the way that
Awesome. Give that a little blend.
messed up. Even if what we're doing is bad, there's so many emotions. Sharing stories that we never
And it's time for a new bottle.
had.
VG.
I think we're searching for reasons not to be like them.
Amazes me how much of this ends up staying in here.
We fly
What I normally do is when I've got an empty bottle of this, I'll take and I'll just stand it upside down, one on top of the other, and just leave it sit overnight to finish draining out.
about the way we are.
Last time I did that with 3 bottles that were empty, I ended up getting probably a good 40 or 50 mils, which is enough to make 2 of these.
There's something
26 and a half.
about us. There's something different about us. There's something different about the way we are. There's something different about the way we are.
Close enough. Neil Pitts, hello and welcome. Much better. Wicking on this one is spot on for density.
Makes me feel bad. And just as they all said
And I love that flip top dripper.
tonight, my body's cold but my heart's
You don't have to worry about over dripping on this with that check mark airflow that they have.
this time. It is worth something to survive. All is
Pineapple comes through. You have the sweet strawberry taste on your tongue. And you can actually identify the raspberry in there as well. As well as the mango. Wow, that was actually balanced really well. This is one of those ones I'm going to have to vape it for a while to see if it's going to dry out my palate. I've noticed that with some of the mango recipes out there. It's fantastic when you're vaping on it initially. But if you're trying to use this as an all-day vape, it kind of dries out your mouth and you got to drink a lot of water. mean, it's a good thing if you want to stay hydrated. But it also goes against being able to use it as an all-day vape. And from my conversations that I've had with Flavors in our emails back and forth, he explained to me that that has to do with the level of acids that are in each of these flavoring ingredients. And when you get a buildup of like malic acid inside multiple ingredients, it can become dominant in here. The solution actually is pretty simple. You add something like dragon fruit into there, where dragon fruit is one of those recipe ingredients that coats your mouth and makes you salivate more, because it emphasizes more the sweetness and like the pear components. When you eat a pear is a very wet fruit, not so much punchy flavor wise, but more of a sensation on your tongue and your mouth. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna try and vape this all day one of these days this coming week, maybe over the weekend. And then this is gonna be a perfect candidate for us to add dragon fruit to it next week and try it out and see if that can move this from the class of a very good recipe where you can identify each of the individual flavors, but move it from that class of it's a good recipe to one that you can literally vape it all day, every day. I really like that fruit medley. Very tasty. I love it. And I think this might be one that once I get the mouthfeel right, might become an all-day vape for my wife. That's recipe 2 for today. I know we're coming on close to an hour, but I think I'm going to go for one more, because the whole purpose of this show, besides all of us hanging out and relaxing, is for us to find and rate these recipes, because a lot of them, just like the one we have today, has never been rated by anyone. So, to contribute towards the community, let's find another recipe that needs reviewing, mix it up, try it out for ourselves, and find out how good it really is. Cabin Boy Dirty Little Nipper. This is an adapted recipe. It says similar to Drunken Sailor, but a bit more girly with strawberry added. The Little Nipper is sweet enough without added sweetness. Sailors aren't choosy after 8 months at sea. Okay, I'll go with that. It'd be nice to have one that isn't so sweet. I think we can do this one and find out how flavorful this one is.
When I look deep into your eyes, oh, when I look deep into your eyes, when I look deep into your eyes, when I look deep into your eyes.
Fantastic. So we need Capella Lime,
If I could hear my father's voice, he would tell me to move on. He would say I'll be just fine. Yeah, he would tell me we have time, time to laugh and time to heal. I favorite song is on repeat. Drinking wine until the dawn, knowing soon we'll be back home. Ooh.
Ah, found that. It's one of the new ones. TFA pear and TFA strawberry. Got this too. Yeah, that last vape really dries out your mouth. All right, starting with the lime. 1.8. Awesome. Now we'll go to the pear. 0.31. And then TFA strawberry is 0.39. Beautiful. $1.86. We're gonna go back and change the recipe a hair, because if you look at it, this one is set up to be more towards a max VG. It's 14 and 86. So I'm gonna edit that. We're gonna change this ratio to a 70-30. All right, so now going back overhead, we need 4.88 of PG. Almost there, folks. Awesome sauce. Blend all of those thin ingredients together. And then we'll add our 26.5 grams of vegetable glycerin. Vaping Snowman, hello from the UK. Hope it's cooled off for you guys over there. Wow. Got lucky. Very nice. And we'll pull out the old drop. Somebody asked if anybody's had problem with this Lost Vape with the button not working properly. Mine still works fine. But if any of you have this at home and have issues with your button, please leave a comment to the person that left that comment on this video that I reviewed for that. Awesome sauce. Smells good. Wow, that lime comes through and it balances out. And there is a sweetness there. I don't think I'd ever get this as a commercial juice anywhere because it doesn't have enough sweetness for most people out there. But in other parts of the world, like Australia, where a lot of their juices are less sweet right off the bat, you're not inundated with sweetness constantly. I could see this, somebody selling this. Wow, that is really good. It's not like all you taste is lime. There's a sweetness and a fruitiness to this. Yeah, that pear and that strawberry does come through. Not as an individual identifiable ingredient in the mix, but it's a nice liquid. It does dry out your palate though, even more so than the last one. All right, we'll let this one sit. Come back to it. I did start an Excel sheet for all of these liquids so I can document where they're at in the journey of each of these in the ripening process. Fantastic. Now, the one last thing that I wanted to do today was I wanted to remix that grape and fruit one shot that I did yesterday. Because yesterday when I wasn't paying attention, I sucked the juice out of the twister, which was full of custard, and I squirted it into the bottle that I made for this grape and fruit. While it was an interesting combination, I can't fairly rate what this tastes like since it was a contaminated bottle, technically speaking. So I'll put these ingredients back. I'm going to mix up another batch of that and give a fair comparison and put it into this Kelpie and see if I can enjoy a nice grape again. Definitely pays to stay organized and keep my workspace clean. All right. Pull out another bottle. This will be our last mix for today. And then we'll catch up on chat. I see the wifey stopped in. So we need 4.5 of the one shot. I am very grateful to Flavors for supporting this channel. My next acquisition is going to be a table alongside here to help me stay organized. It's also going to allow me to do the news a little more professionally than I have been. Not just some vapor out here informing you of all the misinformation that's out there and some of the latest studies that we can find. Okay, that should be 4.5. .86. Just a hair over. We'll need 2.8 of PG to bring this to a 70-30 mix. And something else on my agenda for this week is to go back to Epidemic Sound and find some more music just like this, so it isn't always the same songs you guys are listening to. Wouldn't be a very good DJ if I always played the exact same playlist. Awesome. Blend that up. Yeah, that does smell like grape and fruit. All right, 26.5.
You'd be breaking every vow. I can understand you're tired of this town, and I'm not saying that we have to settle down now. Just remember this: we could have been stardust, same world but without us. Something made us find
Done with the scale for today. Set that off to the side. Time to find out how good this grape and fruits is. In time to get this Kelpie set up properly. Now, when I took a closer look at this yesterday, I realized that this just is basically a dam that sits on the bottom right here. And if this is too long, which these ones look like they are, just a hair, we will choke these coil and not let it soak up the juice that we need to have. So we're going to clean this out one last time, straighten out all those strands, make sure that there's no clumps in there whatsoever. Clean it off and take like a 1/2 mil off, shorten it up even more. And we're going to bring everything back together. Put some e-liquid on there. And the bulk had the same type of setup and same type of juice opening. And if you wick that thing correctly, man, did it make amazing flavor. But if you choked off the juice flow in the wicking, no, was not pretty. So let's get this down in there. Make sure it's not compacted too much. And like Bruce says, paint your wicks down so that they come off of your coil and drop straight into those recesses. Need a little more juice on this end.
I never felt tomorrow closing in this fast. Oh, I guess
And to make sure that there's none of this cotton on our threads, need to tuck this down just a hair.
falling down, but at least they grow back while I'm on a one.
Without the glass, we're going to trial fit this. Make sure it threads on nicely. Beautifully buttery smooth. Now we'll do this with the glass on.
The time I got, it is just enough to get by. Yeah, it is just enough to get by.
Fantastic. Find our opening to slide this. They should mark that better. That's literally the only marking that there is on how to open this tank. But it's a slider.
Sometimes I understand I'm making all the wrong demands in life. It never
One of many tanks that were out there created, sold a bunch through, a lot of them. And then unfortunately, the company that made them is belly up.
to reach the shore. Now I know
I'm going to put this on the Lost Vape Dilemma Quest.
what it means to grow old. Yeah, now I know the time I got, it is just enough to get by. Oh, now I
New coil. And we're going to turn the wattage down. We'll go with 50 watts to start.
the time I've got, it is just enough to get by. Yeah,
I get the grape and the fruits and its sweetness. That's good. And I really like this. I really like this Kelpie. It's a lot more restrictive than I'm used to. I actually think the wattage can go down some more. What's the resistance at? 0.25. Get on to 45 and see what that's like. Is the video grainy today, folks out there? It stalls every now and then. Must be a YouTube issue. OBS is giving me the green light, says everything is perfect. It's a nice strong signal. There's no dropped frames. I'm gonna have to vape this for a while. Come back with my final thoughts on it. I'm not in love with it like I am with the icy pole or that chewing gum. What did I do with it? Where's that chewing gum? That definitely tastes like Wrigley's Double Mint Gum. Now this grape and fruit. I get the fruit. The grape isn't really pronounced. It's just sweet. Sorry, flavors. I don't think I would buy this one. If I ordered it, I'd vape it. It's not that it's a bad juice, just not really strong on the grape. Very nice Kelpie. Nice one shot. Put that one off to the side. I still have marmalade jam toast, and I have a strawberry jam toast that I have to try out. I'm looking forward to those. Let's see what's going on in chat. Sweetness Addict. For you, I would highly recommend that icy pole. It's just like a popsicle. A little bit of sherbet hint to it. You know what a bomb pop is, right? Well, in the bomb pop, you've got a blue, you've got a white, and you've got a red section of that bomb pop. The icy pole tastes exactly like the white part of a bomb pop. We'll let this ripen for a while before I give you my final thoughts. All right. Take this bottle in the tank. Set it off to the side because I have filled up my shelf. And that is going to wrap it up for today. Unless there's something else you guys want to talk about or you want to see. Extreme Brazen says that the video and the audio is good for him. Yes, it is a possibility that your internet connection is the issue. Tabitha says that she's on her iPad and it's been fine for her. Who makes the best flavors that you've tried so far? Well, it's kind of a loaded question if you think about it, because everybody has flavors that they like. Everybody has flavors that are something that they'll use, but not necessarily something that is their favorite. And from my experience that I've been doing with these mixing is every flavor company has duds. For some reason, it's just not an accurate flavor profile. Perfect example, we were talking about the other day of lemonade. I ordered 2 different lemonades whenever I was making my watermelon lemonade recipe. And the Purellum lemonade tastes just like when you go to the county fair or, a street fair and somebody makes a nice big jug of real lemonade, which is just lemon, squeezed lemon, and then you throw the lemon into the cup, and then you pour the sugar in there, and then the ice and the water. And they shake that up, and that's your pure lemonade. The Purellum tastes exactly like that first swig that you get out of that delicious lemonade, handmade lemonade. Now, Flavor West makes a lemonade as well, and that was the other flavoring ingredient that I ordered. Now, after the show, I mixed up a batch using the Flavor West lemonade, just to see if maybe it's just a difference in concentration, but the same basic flavor profile. And what I did find was the initial knuckle test that I did on that was pretty accurate. It is a more potent flavor, but it's not the same flavor. You get more of like the lemon zest essence in that recipe and in from that flavoring. Does it make Flavor West a bad flavor company? I don't think so. It's just that particular flavor is not a true representation that you could make a single ingredient recipe of and end up with something that's going to be as good as if you used a single ingredient recipe from Purellum. But they all have really good flavors. And it's just a matter of finding out which one you prefer and which one you like best. Wifey says that she loves my shirt today. I stole your shirt. You stole mine last night, so I figured I'd steal yours today. Label your lemonade juice. The strawberry lemonade, yep. And if you'd like, I'll make you a bigger bottle of it too. Lance Ward says that he's vaping Baker's Fog Custard Tart, and it's amazing. I wish that there was a better way for us to be able to exchange the different liquids that we have out there. You all living in the UK, your sources and your suppliers for e-liquid are completely different than ours. That is one consolidation that hasn't taken place yet in the industry. There's so many people out there still making e-liquids that what you get and what we get are completely different because different people made it and it's different recipes. There's similarities in them, and different regions have different taste profiles that they cater towards. In the United States, most of the e-liquids that we buy are so sickeningly sweet, but that's because the rest of our diet is the same way. Just like if you were to buy a Coke in the United States and you buy one in Mexico, totally different. One of our local Mexican restaurants actually imports Coca-Cola from Mexico to have in their restaurant because it is so different than the Coke that we go into the grocery store and buy. And I'm sure it's different in Europe and the UK as well. Let alone the fact that the EU has a list of over 10,000 ingredients that are prohibited in the EU from being included in your foods and your drinks, but are allowed in the United States. It's amazing how many juices are available here in the UK. Actually, there are a lot of juices available in most places. It's been thinning out here in the United States since all the regulations have been imposed, and some companies have gone underground and continued making this stuff. I'm sure that there's plenty of them out there still, and they're going to continue doing as much as they can because it's their very survival that is at stake for them. Neil Pitt says, With the zest flavor, did it have a bitter taste? No, not really. Like I was given as an example, the Flavor West is that exact same thing. If you were to take that same jug and you finish off all the actual lemonade that's in there, and all that's left in there is the residual sugar that didn't get mixed in, and the ice, and that lemon that's sitting in there. And at the end of the day, you go home and you take one last swig of it while you're in the car on the way home, and you take a swig of that. It's still lemonade, but it's like the lemonade that is no longer evenly distributed, and the flavor is no longer the same consistency. Like the lemon zest is really strong in it because that lemon's been sitting there for a long time. It's not bad, it's just really strong. But I didn't get anything bitter out of it. It wasn't like it was just lemon zest flavor. It was a lemonade, but like a watered down lemonade that's strong on the lemon, less on the sweetness. Mrs. Hunky Vape says that she thinks our family needs to take a trip to the UK. We will one day. I have high hopes for vaping industry. You can't take and put the genie back in the bottle. We've got something here that the people know works. It's very simple. There's only 4 basic ingredients. Yeah, I know classifying all flavors as one ingredient is not accurate, scientifically speaking. However, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And the more people quit smoking with vaping and tell their friends and their family about it, I don't care what kind of regulations the government puts in place, they're not going to stop this. You can stop a revolution. You can't stop natural evolution. And this is a technological evolution away from combustible cigarettes. It's a fact of life. Mrs. Hunky Vape is right. We need more people to support the channel by going to Patreon. Even $1 a month helps support the channel. When we get 50 people throw in $1, that's more content that you guys get to have and better cameras that I get to have to do this, to make sure that the graininess issue that you may or may not see isn't an issue. We've spent probably $10,000 from beginning to end so far building the studio. And it's just money that we would have spent smoking anyway. So it's not like, it's a big issue or a big thing, but it all adds up. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I really appreciate all of you guys coming out and hanging out today. The other purpose of this weekly show is to give you guys a place to hang out and chat with each other and foster the community of vapors, supporting each other and helping each other stay away from deadly combustible cigarettes. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Like I said, I really appreciate all you guys coming out. And my wish is always peace, love, and a hunky vape to end combustion. Have a great day. See y'all next week.
Stars, I wanna drive a faster car. Lay my troubles to rest, blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I can be someone else. No one's stopping me now. Skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at these beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break